And this is going to be important because you're going to notice this starts at the end of April, not the beginning of April of 25, which we'll talk about in just a second. But this is the mountain chart is really what the S&P 500 or the 500 largest companies in the country, what their experience has been. And what we're trying to do is show you the headlines and how that has affected the markets. And so as you can see, through the last 12 months, pretty much all the way into February, we had been on this kind of slow and steady uptick as it relates to the price of the S&P 500. And then you see February the 28th, the U.S. and Israel execute the military strikes against Iran. And from there, you see this sell-off all the way through the end of April. And then you see the April numbers starting to kick back, or the end of April numbers starting to kick back up with April the 13th, the U.S. moves to blockade the Strait of Hormuz. If we were to take this chart and continue to go out into the first 2 weeks of May, you would see a continuation of a straight up line with the S&P 500. And just to get everybody level set, we're at the S&P right now is about 74.20. So you can see the 7,500 on the left side. We're up a little bit from where the line ends. But lots is happening. And that's why I wanted to show this slide is you see the Fed cutting rates September the 17th. You see the shutdown on November the 12th. I mean, we can go through all of these items. Most of them you would go, gosh, I remember that. But it almost feels like a distant memory versus something that's happened in the last 6 months. And so a couple of things to note that I think are important from just a timeline historical perspective. And the biggest is probably if you look at October the 29th, you see the Fed cut rates 25 basis points. And at that point in time, we thought we were in a pretty continuous move, dovish move with additional rate cuts coming. But then January the 28th comes and we pause. And we've been in this pause ever since. And I think that's one of the major storylines so far this year has been the effect of inflation on the markets and where the trajectory of inflation has been going over the last 2 months based on the CPI reports and PPI reports. And they've ticked up, not ticked down. And at the same time, we have a new Fed chairman coming into effect with Kevin Warsh. So there's this handing off of the baton, and there's, again, another big unknown. Will he act in the same way as Jerome Powell, his predecessor before? Obviously, he was handpicked by Trump. Obviously, Trump has a mandate to lower rates with Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary. What will Kevin Warsh do? And I feel for Kevin Warsh because the data is pointing in one direction, the political commentary is going into the other. So he is stepping right into the flames day one in the argument around where the trajectory of interest rates and inflation is going.